Hey everybody, it's Mr. Khan here. I wanted to do a quick guide for the Leap Slam Labber. We're level 90 right now on our Leap Slam Labber Ancestral Warchief, Ancestral Protector champion build. Here's our Ascendency here. You can see our tree. We'll also have a POB published. The most important thing about the tree is that we're getting as many endurance charges as we can, and we're getting a lot of totem nodes that help with keeping our totems alive when they're tanking Izaro, right? So we have Ironwood, and we have the primal manifestation here. We are using Chainbreaker here, of course, with the Akoya Lethal Pride. They changed the position of the Akoya. It's pretty bad now. You can't really get too many good nodes here. But yeah, you can get more damage from the tree, of course, if you go for slaughter and cleaving. That's a ton of damage. There's a lot of other nodes you can take over here to get more damage. You don't need damage. You don't need a ton of damage. Definitely makes the fight easier. But you can also get things like Warcry, cooldown recovery rate, and the Warcry mastery to have more sustainability when you're running, or max res. So get damage if you want. I find the fight's pretty comfortable if you do it correctly without a lot of damage. Anyways, so there's the tree. You can also check out the POB as well. And let's get into the gem links. All right, so in our running setup, we're going to be running Haste and Dread Banner. We have Haste attached to Frost Blink in our Brightbeak. We have Dread Banner, Phantasmal Ancestral Protector, Poacher's Mark, and Culling Strike in our Staryankas. We have Red Blade Banner with Cast Stone Damage Taken, Molten Shell, and Duration Support. Cast Stone Damage Taken, I believe, level 10 Molten Shell. Honestly, Molten Shell, I'm not even sure if it's the best here. You can probably use Mortal Cry or something else that's better, Steel Skin. I think I was just leveling with this, so I used it anyways. I don't know, swap it out if you want to. We're using Blood Rage, faster attacks, Berserk, and Leap Slam in our gloves. It's really important to have Leap Slam in your gloves because it takes advantage of the socketed gems. Have 16% more attack and cast speed here. No sockets in our comms. If you feel like you have a lot of socket pressure, just swap out a comms. It just gives a lot of life, right? And then finally, we're using Enduring Cry, increased duration, Pride, and Vulnerability here. Links in our two-hand, Ancestral Warchief, attached to Brutality, multiple totems, multi-strike, close combat, and melee fizz damage. Alright, let's go over our gear. For our running setup, we're going to have Haste and Dread Banner on. We are starting with a Brightbeak, mainly for the attack speed, fire, and lightning res. Red Blade Banner has the infinite Warcry power, so that means anytime we cast our Enduring Cry, which is every 4.4 seconds, we get the max amount of endurance charges, so we have 100% uptime there. Other uniques, we have Starkonias with 40% reduced rage loss per second. It's really important to have a lot of mana regen and this enchant for a high amount of berserk time, even if we're leap slamming. Starkonias is really good for a lot of reasons. 67 dex is huge, the attack speed is huge, increased global crit chance is really, it doesn't matter because we're using Resolute technique, but we also get the huge amount of life. 83 maximum life is amazing. The reason why Devotos isn't great because we don't need move speed because we're leap slamming everywhere, right? And it doesn't give nearly as much life, and it also reduces damage done. So Starkonias is huge here. Perseverance is amazing because you have Onslaught while fortified. We are always fortified since we have Fortitude from Champion Ascendancy. So we have Onslaught, which helps with attack speed and move speed, just general mobility. But this build also gives 7% max life, some cold res, and it's also really nice for intimidating enemies. If you can get the Scourge, it'll add a ton of damage. Let's see. Other unique we're using is Wind Scream. It's really nice because you can apply additional curse here, which makes it really cheap. You don't need to do Whispers of Doom on your amulet if you have Wind Scream. It's cheap to get the maximum endurance charge implicit, and it even adds to all res. Again, we don't really care about move speed too much. The enchant here is maximum mana regeneration rate, so we can have more berserk uptime. For crafting the amulet and both the rings, again, you can get synthesized rings. You know, +1 endurance charge is huge, but it's kind of expensive. You don't need it. Just get res if you want budget. 1 essence of misery will give you the mana regen here. And you want to go for, you basically just want to go for like mana regen as 1 suffix guaranteed. And if you can get any res on the second one, or third suffix can be like, I have int here, but you can go for another res. So you can go mana regen res. Basically, like, you're crafting your rings for under 5 essences of misery each. Just go for res if you can hit it. And you don't even need like that much res for your running setup. It's mostly for your kill setup when you don't have Red Blade Banner. For crafting the gloves, you just use an Essence of Insanity. Literally just need 1. You can use more if you want to try to hit life. Some people like to go for the faster attack Shaper mod, which you don't need. It's you know, 1 in 60 chance to hit a tier 1 attack speed, which is also gives faster attacks. Like 1 in 20 for tier 3. We're using faster attacks anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Like if you want the 12, you know, if you want to spend 5x to get 10% more attack speed, go for it. Otherwise, just go for life and res. So for our 2-hander on our kill setup, we run, you know, Pride and Dread Banner still up. We run a 6-link with Ancestral Warchief. Basically, on the axe, you're looking for an open suffix, because chance to deal double damage while focused is extremely overpowered for Izaro. It's perfect scenario. We swap to our 2-hander, we put up our totems, and we get Berserk. We just piano down Berserk, Focus, and Blood Rage, right? So the 2-hander, it's insanely good to have double damage while focused. It's just a huge amount of damage for that 4 seconds that focuses up. Basically, I try to get any axe over 650 DPS, 600 DPS. You're looking for, like, just go on trade and search for it, or you can try to spam Jagged Fossils or get a Fractured Axe and then spam fossils on that or something. You can probably get away with a 5-link in Uber Lab, which is totally good. But yeah, for Flasks, we're going with Lion's Roar, 70% increased effect. A Sulfur Flask with additional elemental resistances on it with increased effect. A Jade Flask with increased attack speed. The prefix here doesn't matter. Yeah, prefix here doesn't matter either. And then I just run 2 Life Flasks. Like, you can use the unique Life Flask. I usually prefer like one of them to be seething, one of them to be better. You have a ton of life regeneration from your Enduring Cry, and life, like having 2 Life Flasks just helps. We use Survival Secrets. It reduces the effect of Flasks, but it makes it so we can use our 1, 2, 3 Flasks on every Izaro fight. So that's pretty nice there. We're using a Watchers, a Pride Watchers. You can just get any Pride Watchers. This should be really cheap. Double Pride or Triple Pride if you really want to spend some currency. And you can get something like Phasing while haste if you want to as well, to have a little bit more quality of life while running through the lab. The only other item to go over is the Thread of Hope. We're using it to hit Rampart and Hatchet Master here and save a point for Panopticon. You can even go for Mana Flows if you need more int as well. Let's see. It's just a little demo of what a run looks like. We're just going to do a level 33 lab to show you the running phase and the killing phase really quickly. So make sure you have both Auras on, Dread Banner, and Haste. And, you know, just a side note, Haste only gives 9% movement speed and some attack speed. You could probably replace this with Purity of Elements if you want to be on a budget for your res. Anyways, we start off, and you can wait till you have, like, some rage if you want to. You're just going to be pretty much leap slamming with Enduring Cry on left click, spamming your leap slam. It's a little clunky at first, but you get used to it. We're going to enter Esperance Trial, switch to your other weapon, turn on your Pride Aura. We can only use 1 aura because of Blood Magic Mortal Conviction. So we switch to our Pride Aura, right? And you switch to your 2-hander. So we are going to position here, like right at the top here, or by the cog I usually do. We're going to do right click, space. Do our Flasks, QWE, go behind him, double curse, and then he's dead. It's obviously it's going to take a lot faster. It's going to take a lot faster because, you know, we're a level 33 lab, but on a longer lab, you do right click, space, and then you flask, command QWE, piano down for berserk, focus, and blood rage. Then as he spawns, like right as he becomes targetable, right as you can walk through the podium, you walk under him. Your totems taunt him, right, because of Conqueror. Then he's on your totems, and then you just sit behind him, and you sit behind him right on him, because if you're right here, and you'll see in the videos after this, the goddess cannot target you with her barrage if you are right on his back. So you just hug the back. You always keep him in between your totems and you. And if you want to look where he's facing, you can kind of look at Izaro's knees. And that's the way he's facing. But you always want to keep him in between you and your totems. So you right click, space, flask, QWE, run through him. Right as soon as you get into position, you go EW for both your curses. And then you just sit and wait. You just sit and wait. And you endure and cry when you can. But you just sit and wait, and you stand still. You'll see in my videos I try to stand as still as possible. On the third phase, he will port you, or the goddess will port you. It'll be like a circle, and you'll get ported to the side. All you need to do, because he's going to be on your totem still, right? Your totems are tanking him. All you need to do is when you get ported, stay calm and just leap slam, back into position. So you get ported, 1, 2, you're back into position right there. So that is pretty much it. You swap back to your running setup, you turn on haste, and this is a really chill build. A lot more survivability in the Wave of Conviction, just a couple minutes slower. And if you play it right, you do not need much damage. You just need to practice being still, staying behind them, and staying calm. Make sure make sure your resists are capped when you have no endurance charges and when you have the two-hander on. If you're having a problem hitting your resist cap with the two-hander out, I suggest you know, you don't really need pride. You can just get purity of elements here and use that in both setups, or you can just drop like some of your implicits here for like two-tone rings or whatever. So you can even get like resistance corruption on your belt, or just spend a little bit of money rolling your gear for res. But yeah, check out the following part of the video for example runs, and ping me on Discord if you have any questions. All right, bye-bye.